So it looks like Supergirl's second week drop-off was way worse than they thought. They thought it was going to be in the 60s. Then they said the low 70s. Now we're talking almost 80%.
Oh, I'm not surprised, though. It wasn't that great of a movie.
No, and it had a lot of competition. Now, before this happened, after it scrubbed out last weekend, we had, I think it was Matt Belney from Puck said that he's hearing Gunn's job is on the line, that Gunn might be out.
Well, he should be out because he's been making some poor choices.
You know, it's interesting. I did a video earlier today talking about Xbox, and the one thing that Asha Sharma, who's the CEO of Xbox, said is that she is going to put managers in charge of games, and basically their jobs will be on the line if the games underperform. So I think it needs to work that way in movies too. I'm sorry, if you lose a company $100+ million, you shouldn't be allowed to have another $200 million to piss away.
No.
I mean, only in Hollywood, only in the creative industries can you continue to burn through massive amounts of money, and these companies are running out of money, and the Ellisons are not as forgiving, I don't think, as Zaslav was. So we'll talk about this, and then we're also going to talk about the behind-the-scenes drama, like how we got here. And apparently there were multiple cuts of the movie, and the director, is it Craig Gillespie, does not have very good feelings towards James Gunn, because James Gunn basically took control of the movie from him, and they had a bake-off is what they're calling it, where they ran.
It's funny they're calling it a bake-off.
I think like strawberry shortcake.
Yes, that's exactly what I keep thinking.
The Big City Berry Bake-Off or whatever.
Bake-Off, yeah.
The Berry Bake-Off. Well, apparently his didn't test very well, and they ran with Gunn's version. But I have to wonder, was the deck stacked? Was it like Gunn's like, oh, I'm going to run my version and not yours? Because I'm the boss. I got to touch everything. I got to finger up everything.
Know. I just know that I'm not too impressed under James Gunn. So that's not been impressive.
No, he's okay on James Gunn projects, but not on everything. I don't want James Gunn everywhere. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
If you'd like more Clownfish TV, go out to more.clownfishtv.com for more podcasts and episodes that are exclusive to the Substack. You can check that out. And if you'd like to listen to us instead of watch us, you can listen on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there. All right. So everybody knows Supergirl was a disaster. We thought it was originally the high 68 was what we're hearing. Then they went to 73% drop. Now they're saying it's a 77 to 80% drop.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised at all.
That's worse than Morbius. That's worse than The Flash. Almost as bad as the Marvels. Almost as bad as Joker. And these were all flops. Huge.
Worse
massive.
than Morbius. Okay, right there. And worse than The Flash.
It had a
That's bad.
It had a worse opening than Morbius. And it had a worse second week drop off than Morbius. And I bought the graphic novel, The Woman of Tomorrow, and I was thumbing through it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But like I said in the other video, like the graphic novel's beautifully drawn. The story beats are kind of similar, but it seems like it's a totally different thing. And they turned it into this like generic Mad Max movie. And that would be James Gunn, if I had to guess, because that's his thing, right? But it bombed harder than they thought. And so now we've got the behind the scenes drama. So we'll talk about that. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. They said usually test scores go up. This March, the scores for Supergirl went down when DC Studios held a bake-off. That's what they're calling it.
I still think it's funny they're calling it a bake-off.
A bake-off. Testing competing cuts from filmmaker Craig Gillespie and from the studio run by James Gunn and Peter Safran. It was a moment of extreme disappointment for those involved as the stakes were high, particularly for DC. Supergirl would be a key test for the Warner Brothers division as its first feature not written and directed by Gunn, except when it is, following last year's inaugural outing, and it needed work. And they said the Supergirl outcome is well known. The movie starring Millie Alcock crashed and burned. Are they allowed to say that? Opening weekend?
They're allowed to say it, but no one else is allowed to say it.
They said, well, one failure need not be an indictment of a slate. And there have been all sorts of think pieces as to why the movie failed. Was Alcock right for the role? Was Gillespie right? Et cetera, et cetera. So yada, yada, yada. We get finally like 10 paragraphs in. Gunn and Gillespie had creative differences over the direction of the movie. Numerous sources tell The Hollywood Reporter, and the film never found its footing in the post-production process. They cut like a half an hour before they dropped it too. So what was cut?
Yeah, right.
A lot more music from James Gunn's Spotify playlist, probably. The test scores, which are counted on a scale out of 100 points, never escaped the 60s, according to multiple insiders. Another insider said the movie's top score was 70, so barely passing. They were not creatively aligned, is the polite way of describing things.
I love that. That's a polite way of describing it. They weren't creatively aligned.
Oh, God. Yeah, other insiders dispute this characterization, saying Gunn, Safran, and Gillespie had the normal amount of healthy friction any filmmaker and studio have as part of the process of making a movie better. Multiple sources say the duo respect the filmmaking chops of Gillespie, known for I, Tonya, but, they decided they were just going to take it in a different direction. So they brought in Jeremy Slater, a Gunn favorite, who wrote an unmade feature based on The Authority. The extent of his involvement is unclear. Basically, the vibe I'm getting is that Gillespie did it his way. James Gunn came in and said, no, fuck this. I'm going to do it my way. And we got another James Gunn super movie.
That's what it sounds like to me, too.
But it was a movie that didn't really resonate with anybody. It was very, very mid. Mm-hmm. It said other issues with the movie are unclear, but it's known that music was a key friction point. From his first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Stop using friction. It just sounds like they're getting it on or something. It's just there.
Yeah. Gunn established himself as the master of the movie soundtrack and the all-important needle drop, earning praise for finding the right song and dropping it at the right time. Gillespie also has a reputation for melding music into movies, like Cruella. The movie had at least 4 test screenings, according to sources. I heard like 8. Yeah, this was weird. Yeah. While social media users and critics are dunking on the movie's use of a cover of the Jimmy Eat World song The Middle as the big needle drop, originally it was supposed to be Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That would have been much better.
Would it?
Ish.
Would it though? I don't think either one would have been a good choice.
They said the song choice came from Gunn. Okay, so Girls Just Want to Have Fun was Gunn, but ultimately it was abandoned for the Jimmy Eat World cover, which was terrible. It was like, finally we get Supergirl being Supergirl, and we're playing this twangy, acoustic, mid cover of a mid song that makes no damn sense.
Yeah.
That was a very Gunn thing. Like, we looked at each other and we were like, that is James Gunn, 100%. That is something he would do. The movie had 2 different editors. It had a bunch of people doing the music. They said it's unclear what differences emerged, but one source says Gillespie's version was 11 minutes longer. When the 2 competing versions tested, the scores surprisingly dropped significantly, though the studios inched out ahead of Gillespie's. But only by 2 points.
Did it though?
Yeah. No, I think this is called Gunn wanted to make another Gunn movie for Gunn and Gunn fans, and he got his way. So that's what's going to happen, I think, after, like, even if Gunn is allowed to keep his job, every movie is going to have his fingerprints on it.
Yeah, he just can't let other people take the wheel. He has to be in control of everything.
Yeah, people said no, it wasn't great. They said it happens more than you think, but it's not normal, said the filmmaker of The Bake Off. If a studio is going to put money into the test process, it means they feel strongly about certain things. The movie was never tested again. As a point of comparison, the canceled Batgirl movie tested in the 60s, and they canceled that when they burned it. And the box office disappointment of Shazam 2 began its test in the 60s. So they had a pretty good indication this was going to be a huge effing flop going into it. And they still went ahead. I would have, at that point, I would have been like, hey, yeah, who did we call to burn Batgirl? Let's burn this one too. And let's not make any more girl movies, right? But now they're saying, and this is actually before the second weekend drop, they said that James Gunn's job is on the line. So a lot of insiders were coming out and they're saying, yeah, they think he's basically done. They said The Wrap put this article up. They said that suggested Gunn's strategy of putting lesser known DC characters in the spotlight isn't connecting with the audiences. Again, this is before the second weekend drop off. They don't think he's going to survive this. They think the Ellisons are going to come in and get rid of him. That doesn't mean the Snyderverse is going to be reinstated. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're going to bring Zack Snyder back." I'm like, I don't know if they'd do that.
I don't know if they're going to do that either.
But I think they're going to take a good hard look at it and be like, "Yeah, we need to make DC movies that feel like DC Comics movies and not whatever the hell this is." It said the movie isn't very good. This is coming from Geeky Tyrant. I'm surprised because they're like usually like, "Oh, everything's great, guys." It said it doesn't help. The movie's not good. The story and script are weak. Supergirl's even more curious choice is the second film in the DC universe. As the report explains, it was a somewhat odd choice made stranger by the fact that the cast failed to net any major movie stars to serve as an extra draw. Yeah, and I read that Millie Alcock only got paid like $400,000.
Is that true though?
No, they said it's true. Yeah, because Gal Gadot apparently she got like $300,000 for Wonder Woman, but she got like I think like a royalty deal or something, and
Probably,
even Wonder Woman did like 800 million or something. It was like way better than this. It said the concerns don't stop there. They said Clayface reportedly faces a similar obstacle. The one Warner Brothers says is it's a terrifying film that could benefit from backrooms and obsession. Several Hollywood insiders are questioning the overall direction of the franchise. One industry insider didn't hold back. All this is a Gunn and Safran production deal. It's not a brand. Announcing a universe was dumb. Yes. DC created an expectation, and now you have delivered one Superman movie.
Pretty much, yeah. And it did okay, but it didn't do gangbusters either.
Yeah,
if we're being honest.
So this is the talent agent. He said, I don't know how nervous DC is, but certainly James Gunn should be nervous. There will always be a DC, and the current execs have survived previous regime changes, but I don't think Gunn survives. I
don't either. Not after this. And I think especially if we're going to see it like the next couple of movies that are coming out will cinch it. Now there's talk that his contract might be up at the end of this year anyway, or at least next year. So we'll see what happens probably then. But
yeah, I mean, they're still going to do Superman 2. They're already working on it. I think Supergirl's going to be in that one. Now those two actually, they work, and we said in our review, when Supergirl's not drunk and she's doing scenes with Clark Kent, it's not bad. But there wasn't nearly enough of that in this movie. And I don't know, guys. I think it's over. I think we're going to have a James Gunn super trilogy, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, because even if he gets gone by the end of this year or into 2027, they're still going to finish what's already been done.
Yeah.
So,
All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.